I invite you to be with that.
I've got this same knee thing, so I might also be shifting.
Yeah, and look, if you need to move, it's okay. We don't have to be really strict, but before you move, I just invite you to really see if you can drop in and open and soften around it and be with it. Because you might find, as we rest in pure being, that it begins to unravel naturally. And so just making sure you're as comfortable as you can be. Settle the body into whatever position feels good for you. Feel the head, neck and spine is straight. There's length in the back of the neck. The base of the body is steady, rooted to the ground. The hands can rest on the knees or in the lap. And before we begin looking or seeking anything, just notice in this moment that meditation, the quiet of meditation, of being, is already here. Becoming aware of the breath without doing anything, just aware of the breath as it enters and leaves the body. Feeling the body soften. Becoming aware of awareness itself. The silence between my words. And a sense of dropping, sinking into the body as awareness, as presence. Have the sense of presence entering through the crown of the head, filling the head space. Like a soft, empty shell. Softening in the face. Softening in the jaw. And aware of the space, sense of spaciousness in the head, not the content. Allowing presence to pour down through the throat into the torso, shoulders and arms relaxing, coming into the heart space. Aware of awareness, that sense of spaciousness. Notice that awareness does not have a need or a want. It wants for nothing. Just here. This isness. Coming to rest in this moment. Thoughts may come, let them be there without engaging. Stay with presence, aware of awareness itself. Silent, still, being. Resting in the stillness of being. The naturalness, this light of divine, alive presence that is always here, ever available. Bathe in presence. Marinate. And keep softening. Check that you're allowing everything to be just as it is. No intention, no desire, no want or need. Just here, in deep rest. As the love that you are. Allow awareness to drop a little deeper into the belly. Relaxing, softening. And whatever rises in the space of you as awareness is welcome. This body-mind is contained within awareness itself. See how far and wide this space extends. See if you can find where awareness ends. Where you end and something else begins. Discovering the vastness of you. You, awareness, being, pure consciousness, the self. Recognize that this you has no need, no want. There's nothing to do, nowhere to go. See if it has a shape or form. A gender. Is it male or female or neither? Keep allowing, softening a little deeper, allowing a little more. Giving yourself a little more to the depth of you.
If I go first.
Simply being here, resting in this constant, which is always here, ever present, ever available. This is true nourishment. For the system naturally recalibrates. Tensions and contractions are naturally dissolved. This is where transformation and transmutation happens. in this effortlessness of being, simply being here as presence. Conscious of consciousness. Experience your whole energy field. Notice what is happening without trying to fix or change. Just be the witness of this moment. Whatever is here, allowing it, giving it space, softening, not engaging. and inviting the qualities of love and compassion expanding from the heart, holding this child mind, holding yourself in your own arms. Bringing love and compassion to this sweet animal body. Presencing the whole body. This love wrapping around you, in you, as you. You are that love that you've been looking for. So I'm inviting you to gently and slowly begin to externalize your awareness a little. Whilst remaining in presence. Gently invite movement if it's there. Maybe it's very, very slight. You can keep your eyes closed or open. And if you open your eyes, when you open your eyes, look from the eyes of the heart. So remaining in your meditation whilst allowing movement to come. Let every movement be held in presence. Come up to standing, use the space. You can do so. And know that this space is for you to be completely as you are. Everything is welcome. yourself to being seen and to see.
whether music or madness, or live by one of the two, by one of the two. So go on, fill your heart up with gladness. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too soon. There should be rational reasons. Choose a child to ignore. Of this I've never been sure. So I will follow the feeling and sing fever to the phone. All of my fever to the phone. Cause the very thing you're afraid of, that keeps you clean but unclear, clean but unclear, is the dirt that you're made of. And that's nothing to fear. No, it's nothing, my dear. But how do I know what you're thinking? Maybe I thought it before. Maybe that's why I'm at your window. Heal me at your door, singing, give me some more. Oh, fever to the phone. Won't you hear me at your door, singing, give me some more. Cause you were never empty, and we've been here before. Yes, we've been here before, and that was always plenty. Yes, still we ask for more, singing fever to the phone.
So I invite you not to feel fine in your face.
People, let me tell you, I work hard every day. I get up out of bed, I put on the clothes, cause I've got bills to pay. Now it ain't easy, but I don't need no help. I've got a strong will to survive. I've got a deeper love, a deeper love inside.
This path to awakeness is not easy. It is simple. So close to you, Bigfoot. As close as your own breath. I know that it's really difficult. Now you move. The heart is calling you. Go where the heart is. The joy is the heart knows it. The heart knows what your mind is.
People, let me tell you, I work hard every day. I get up out of bed, I put on the clothes, cause I've got bills to pay. Now it ain't easy, but I don't need no help. I've got a strong will to survive. I've got a deeper love, deeper love inside. Now it ain't easy, but I don't need no help. I've got a strong will to survive. I've got a deeper love, deeper love inside.
Stay here, wherever the mind is traveling. If it is, bring it back. Bring your attention back into the body.
I get up out of bed, I put on the clothes, cause I've got bills to pay. Now it ain't easy, let me tell you. I work hard every day. I get up out of bed, I put on the clothes, cause I've got bills to pay. Now it ain't easy, let me tell you. I work hard every day. I get up out of bed, I put on the clothes, cause I've got bills to pay. Now it ain't easy, let me tell you. I work hard every day. I get up out of bed, I put on the clothes, cause I've got bills to pay. Now it ain't easy, but I don't need no help. I've got a strong will to survive. I've got a deeper love, deeper love inside.
So gently in your own way coming down onto the floor and finding a partner. I think we're uneven numbers, but that's okay, I don't have to be in it, so that's perfect. So find yourself a partner and just sit comfortably without words, close enough so that you can truly meet. And in a similar way we did before, taking each other in, receiving your partner, receiving and being received. Let yourself soften. Let yourself be vulnerable. And it can feel really exposing to be seen from another being's eyes of love. Look from the eyes of the heart rather than mind eyes. Notice what's happening in the body.
No, that's what people say.
Notice if fear rises. Check that you're allowing, not becoming tense. Are you allowing the other one in? Are you willing to see the other without judgment, without ideas and concepts, beyond gender? Really looking from the eyes of the heart, seeing this beautiful beloved in front of you, not separate from you. Yes, here in another form. There is only one consciousness. Can you rest in unconditional love? If emotions come, allow them. And I invite the beloved in your pair with the shortest hair to begin by sharing what it is that you see. What is it that you see in your beloved's eyes? Let it be the first words that come, no editing, no trying to get it right. And not interrupting if you're the receiver. So try to receive without speaking. The receiver. When you're ready, you can swap. Yes, when you're ready, you can swap.
It's really hard to keep looking at someone, and I didn't find anything. Many years ago, I had an experience. Yeah, it seems so easy for me. So I was much younger. I was just real conscious. And I had this realization that no matter how old you are, sex you are, very the same. Your ego, it was so beautiful. That was quite a revelation. It was exactly about that. Who are you know, what are we? What we're exploring. I think that's probably why. Yes, but also, like I said, because I find it so much easier to keep it. That's why I probably like that. I easily see myself as one freaking.
So 1 more minute for either of you to speak.
I feel so relaxed. Yeah, I am. I wouldn't feel it. I think my very nice experience. Very
So just inviting you to complete your sentence, whoever's speaking. Just inviting you to complete. Yeah. And if there's a gesture you'd like to offer to each other, let that be received and given. I invite you back into a circle. Let's make a circle together. So come a little bit closer. It'd be nice to have you close. Thank you. Oh, that's nice. So I'd love to receive from you your experience, if you want to share it. If we'll go around in a circle, if it's okay to start with you, and perhaps you could share your name, because we didn't do that in the first instance. I'd like to know all of your names, and if you don't feel like sharing very much, you can share just one word of what is here, or one word what comes. If you want to share a little bit more about your experience today, you can do so, or if there's something else that comes, just feel free.
My name's Claire Louise. initial meditation, what I noticed, I guess, most clearly about the initial meditation was quite strong imagery coming up. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting, like just to let that be and to sort of notice it, but without sort of, I don't know, like getting too sort of, I don't know, heady, getting into it, almost like just letting it kind of pass across the screen. And I don't know if it was where I was sitting, but I had this real sense of something coming in and down and through, which felt really reassuring. And then, I don't know, moving from there through the movement then to the sort of being with the pair. Felt kind of quite, I don't know, like felt like there was a more open approach to being able to then sit with someone and kind of really take them in, like, I mean, you were saying from the heart space, it felt like what we'd done before helped that to then happen. And it felt like there was almost a melting into each other, me and you and me, kind of sense to it. Yeah, I think
Is there a word that would encompass what's here right now?
Oh, a word that would encompass what's here right now. It's two words: a soft surety. Yeah.
Beautiful. It's probably okay in the middle, but I'll pass it now.
Emma? So, I do really struggle with sitting meditation. I do just find myself going into thoughts. I can't even think about what the thoughts were now. But in my own time, I just find myself getting quite restless. I don't know, feels like a waste of time. So the thoughts are things that I could be doing, although I know it's good. Around my childbearing years, I found it so much easier, movement meditation. I found myself drifting off into sleep a little bit as well, moving back. So it's nice to do it in a group. But I really liked that imagery of kind of the filling up and trickling down. That was very grounding. And then going into the movement, I really enjoyed the movement. I find that moving with the energy and just having that open space. I've been avoiding that, actually. I think feeling having some transitions in my relationship at the moment. I don't know how it's going to be, but I just feel like a sense of needing to find myself again. However that kind of manifests in the relationship. But I think I've lost some of myself. So the movement was really affirming. And then coming into the pair, and feeling the oneness. Just feeling the oneness and knowing that we all are. We're all on a path, and a little bit of fear of like, how do I carry that forwards? I'm feeling hurt and needing boundaries, but trying to hold people in love, but with boundaries as well. But knowing that we are all, we're all seeking, and we're all individual, but on that similar path. So I think affirmation would be the word. Thank you.
Well, I've been.
Your name?
Tony. I do a lot of mindfulness meditation on the breath, but when I do it at home, because I don't know, I'm not in any group or anything, so I just solo practitioner, I suppose. I find my mind gets in the way a lot, so I'm trying to focus on being rather than. So there's this thinking, and I'm thinking that, and then there's being, thinking, being. So
how was it today?
It was good actually. For some reason, since I've been here, I've found that I can shift more into being than into thinking. For some reason, I can't. And it comes quite easy for some reason at the moment. Doubtless it won't last very long. You never know. So I also when I was much younger, I had an experience of the unity of consciousness. So it was a very powerful experience where I realised that all human beings basically are sharing the same consciousness, whether they're male, female, young, old, or whatever. So I kind of went back to that experience to help me get through it.
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I find it quite difficult because of the way I was brought up, I'm quite inhibited, pushed back, introvert. So I find that coming out of that is a bit more. It's difficult for me sometimes to come out of that, because when I was young I was pushed in. It's my way I was brought up.
Can I respond to that? Well, I notice compared to yesterday there's a massive shift in your capacity to be here with other. So that's been one day. So I want to share with you that that's really beautiful to see, because yesterday you couldn't really engage at all.
No.
Something in you just kind of switched off, and that's okay. There's no judgment here. But today there was like, oh, I'm here. You stepped a little bit further in. That's how it felt.
Yeah. Well,
into the willingness of being seen. That's beautiful.
thank you.
So things can change in a moment. Yeah. You've got a choice to come.
Yeah. So with the movement, I'm quite happy with the movement in a way, because I used to do Tai Chi quite a lot, so it's like that was sort of meditation in movement anyway. So.
So is there one word that would encompass today or right now?
I am.
So my name's Denise. I want to thank you for bringing us inward, because strangely enough I spend quite a lot of time inwards, and I find the festival, I just realised, is taking me very much outward, because we're here and we're walking around, and like the ego identity is very strong, I've noticed. I didn't realise until we did this. It's interesting because for me, when you reach these states of very deep sense of yourself, life is so easy. Life is so extremely easy. There's no thought, there's nothing, there's just a state of being. And you think, how is it that I come out of it? The ego identity comes back. And it's only when you're back into yourself that you think, how is it possible when this state is so incredibly blissful, so easy, so freeing, that we allow ourselves to come back to the ego identity? That's where I'm at the moment. I can't keep this state constantly. I'm more and more in this state now. I've had, like yourself, I've had a lot of grace in India specifically that has allowed me to get there. But it's like I almost want to laugh at myself at how is it possible, once you know what it's like, when you live it, that you can come out of it, because there's nothing like it. It's just you are total being and there's nothing else. So I want to thank you for bringing me back into this state here in the festival. And what I got 2 words, and I got Aham Brahman Sarvam Brahman, which is I am God and you are God too. That's all I got. I want to thank you all.
My name is Shile. It was incredibly easy to, when you're doing the meditation, to get the meditation. So it's like, I went to a stage really, I think it's the bliss feeling that Denise was saying, another stage. And I had such, these images of a lot of mandalas in my, coming, Lauren. It was like, I really switched off. I didn't even hear what you were saying. I was like, I went. And it really hard for me to do that when I had the meditation. It's really like a really nice feeling. And I think that came on a week. For me, it's really hard to keep looking someone's eyes for a long time without like trying to avoid or maybe laughing or maybe doing some kind of gesture. And when we are doing with her, I don't know if because she seems so pure, this human being here. I don't know if it's her energy, it's so pure that made. And now I'm so relaxed. That had never, that happened, been so long to look at someone. I was so relaxed to see, so connected to, I think that's the connection to yourself. Then you can connect to someone else without having, all the barriers or all the, when you look to connect to someone, it's just really interesting. Yeah. I don't know why I was so quick. It was this is yourself or the energy here or something like that. Yeah, the word I came all the time was purity. To be pure. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
During the meditation, at the most part, I was really engrossed in thoughts, which was brought up what you touched on earlier, your workshop yesterday, about or what you said earlier, but the state of the world, the great unraveling, everything is collapsing, and the natural world dying, which for me is so painful and heartbreaking. And then sometimes I also sort of torn between, or almost like a consolation to myself. I tell myself, well, seen in deep time, let's say, in the greater, how do you say, the greater, the theme of things. It's just a blip of time wherein, maybe it's not that important as it seems to me. On the other hand, I feel sort of in my being it is important. It's kind of always that kind of, in a way it isn't.
Like a paradox.
Yes, like a paradox. And then I feel like, well, what do I do? I'm very sort of involved in activism to save the natural world. And then I think, well, maybe it doesn't really matter, and there was a moment then, sort of later on in the meditation, where I had this really strong feeling of it's okay, it's okay. It's also okay for me to feel the pain. It's okay for me to try to save what there is to save, if there's anything to save. But it's also okay if I can't. It's okay. It was quite sort of calm feeling. Then when you said go around, at this moment, I've been doing workshops like this for 20 years, and still when it comes to look into each other's eyes, I'm like, I want to run away.
Who wants to run away? That's the key. Who is it that's wanting to run away?
I had to lie down outside a bit, and I was thinking, I'm not doing it. Then I was like, okay, I've done that so many times, and then very often it was so very opening, and I come back. A couple of times during festivals like that, I had also experience where I felt I made myself very vulnerable, and when the workshop ended, I was gone in the festival by myself, and it was like at the time I was also by myself, like I'm this time, I wasn't with my partner or whatever, and it felt a bit like, oh, it's all this opening, and that you get thrown out. And it felt very, very vulnerable, so I'm very careful with it a little bit as well. At the same time, I had beautiful moments of opening as well, so it was a bit like... and when we did the looking into each other's eyes, I forgot her name.
Shilly.
Oh, I didn't say my name, Ruth. I had what came up for me, when you said what came up for you, it was cricket. Because I find it so easy and natural for me to feel one consciousness with the more than human world. But I find it much harder with humans, where I think, what comes in between is just, I think it's that purity you were mentioning. It's like a river, an ant, a blade of grass. There's that purity with human beings, our character, our personality, it all comes kind of, yes. So there's more of a barrier, whereas it just comes natural to me when I see the tiniest little being to feel one, like one consciousness. So when we were looking at each other, I was thinking, cricket. She's a cricket. And I think that came up because I read that poem yesterday by Mary Oliver.
Oh, yeah.
With that cricket, me and the cricket being one consciousness or something like that. And that really helped me to be more open. Yeah.
Is there one word right here, right now?
Yeah, cricket.
Still cricket. Beautiful.
As a symbolism of one consciousness.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can I add something really important? Sorry, I know it feels like I give away the talking stick, but when I do these kind of things about we all being one consciousness, I always invite in my mum who passed away, because then I think if everything is one consciousness, then my mum is here. And that's always a beautiful and sad feeling at the same time. So, thank you.
I don't have a lot of words personally. I feel gratitude, and I'm grateful that you show up, each one of you. The willingness, the sincerity, the openness. In my experience, the willingness is everything. And that willingness alone to just step that little bit further, drop that little bit deeper, keep coming back to here and now and this moment. And yeah, it's so simple. My work is now called Simply Being because it is so simple. And now I mentioned when we were dancing, easy but not simple. It's simple but not easy. You know, it can appear like it's really hard sometimes, but that's the mind itself. You know, it's the mind that says, I've got to get back there and I've got to do this and I've lost it and all that. It's all ego. So it's like just to be willing to drop beneath it, if you like, and let it all be there. And the more and more that you sit without engagement with whatever's there, just stop believing the mind completely and sit and just let it settle. Just keep letting it settle, whatever's going on in your life, because life's going to keep happening and it's going to keep bringing us opportunities, which is beautiful, to see ourselves, to see where we're not living in truth, to see what new choices we can make. And I want you to know that there are beings who will be here, and I want to say that I am here. If you want to come back and connect in, if you want to take a flyer and you stay in contact, please do. And I run retreats and workshops and classes and things, and I connect online. I do one-to-one mentoring, just to be with you. There's not really an agenda other than your desire for truth, for living in this is what will guide you. And if I can be any help to be one of the other beings like Sangha that can remind you of like, oh, okay, what's happening here? Because we do need the Sangha. Thich Nhat Hanh said the next Buddha will be the Sangha. And the Sangha is the community of truth, where we support each other, and this is the age for that. To be spiritual friends, to remember that we are that already, and in the moments where one is coming into misunderstanding, another one is an understanding and can be of service to you. And then it will roll around another day where I'm in collapse and I'm needing reminding of what's true, you know, and it's like that. And some of us have walked a little bit further, so we guide our friends, and you know, it's like that. There's not this. Well, gone is the idea of a hierarchy of spiritual teachers and something other. You know, it's like. I'm gonna slip out just to grab my shift. Yeah. Thank you so much. And please keep in touch. And I've got a class tomorrow morning, and there's another session similar to this in workshop 3 tomorrow at 6:30 if you want to come. Tell people. Thank you. So yeah, just know that I'm here and available for this. This is my greatest love, is for truth, to wake up on the planet. This is really needed, and it is happening. There is a return to God. There is a return to spirit as a consequence of this cleansing of consciousness, which is coming through the world crisis. And I don't think I said the planet is dying. It's the world.
Yes,
the world, and the world is a very different thing to the planet. The planet's fine. She's all right.
How do you see the outcome of this? Then that there's going to be a global
What I didn't
awakening
mention, what I didn't mention yesterday, I spoke about a lot of things, but I talked about the Kali Yuga, the fact that we're at the end of the Kali Yuga. So every civilization has spoken about these epochs of time, and Kali Yuga is from the Hindu tradition, the yogic tradition. Kali means destruction, or time actually Kali means. So it's the end of time, it's the end of days, it actually means. But it is the age of destruction, but we're right at the end of it. And when I say right at the end, we're talking about thousands of years of cycle. We're at maybe 60 to 100 years. No one can say exactly, but around about that. that is really at the end. Things are ramping up on the planet as a result. But there's a greater, higher consciousness, and there's a greater play, and there's going to be a point, literally, when enough beings wake up through this. There's going to be the omega point where every consciousness spirals into one point, and we're going to be in the Sat Yuga. It is going to happen just like pitching. We're going to arrive in a very, very different place. And the Sat Yuga, Sat means truth.
Yeah.
It's the age of bliss and truth. So if that gives you any hope, just know that it has become urgent. And maybe that's why more beings are feeling this pull to somehow get out of this. I mean, it's so beautiful that throughout COVID, we all got sent home. I mean, if that doesn't speak of something, and those who just went, oh, actually, I'm really liking this, I'm not going to go back to that. They came home to themselves, essentially, in that, So we could look at it as a difficult thing, or we could see it as a gift, because everything comes to bring us home in some way or another, even when it feels like but it's bringing us back to ourselves somehow, even in the difficulty, even in the it's sort of.
I think that there's going to be quite chaos. Well, we're in a chaos, like you were saying yesterday, but
yes,
turbulence.
That's right. And so the two sit by side. There's love and there's turbulence, right? There's the truth of what we are, and then there's turbulence. And the turbulence will always be there, because that is the nature of life. You cannot control it. So this is where the urgency arrives. We must, because saving the world is truly about knowing who we are, who and what we are. If we are rooted in truth as consciousness, as the state that you were in not so long ago, if that is the case with many, many beings, there isn't a problem, and we are the ones. We are not separate from anything. So this is the planet, that all the destruction can change in a moment when there are enough beings who are awake and living awake. Right? So that takes a commitment, and then there is a push. Even I received quite a strong push. I was back in Australia for 4 years, and my mother was saying, you need to get back out there, much more available than the back of Beyond in Mullumbimby, where you're hiding. Not that I wasn't hiding, but I was hanging in the hills, not having a lot of contact with people, but running this incredible sanctuary. But I was like, you need to be really available. So this is why I'm here running these workshops, because there's a sense of a need. And so if we're following that calling, whatever that is, it may just be to, okay, now I'm going to commit myself to. And there is a commitment, there is a dedication that's required. It must become, if there is a desire, it must be your only desire, in a sense, really. The longing needs to overtake everything else that feels important in your life. That longing for love and to return to truth, to know and live it, to be it, becomes the priority.
Were you saying something yesterday about like a sort of immediate realizations rather than kicking the can down the road and perpetually seeking? Yeah, you were saying that you can access this truth more immediately rather than thinking it's some goal.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, because
some
then there's distance.
That you've got to climb.
That's right. It's here and now in every moment. Here and now again, and here and now again. Right here in this moment. In this moment. In this moment, what am I choosing? And it's like, we deepen and deepen and deepen. It's, we're deepening into love. We're deepening in our listening capacity. We're expanding. We're fundamentally, when we bring consciousness into the body, this is pure love coming into form. This is masculine coming into feminine. And the two, the marriage of Shiva and Shakti, become the case. So the whole body changes. The cells literally transform, transmute in that process. And we do become, gradually we become those bodhisattvas that are living in the world and living truth. And that's what's needed. Because we're here to radiate the love that we are, nothing else. All of the things that we think we're here to do are not important, actually. You're just here to radiate that which you are. your uniqueness, your unique spark, your unique spark, my unique spark, yours. How wondrous would that be when we're all shining our light? Uninhibited. Here I am.
Every man and every woman is a star.
In all ways. Also when we're, precisely we are. And it's like, and it is vulnerable. I really know that because I've experienced that. The unraveling is incredibly vulnerable. You can feel so raw and you don't know who you are and you're like, oh, what's happening? And it's like, teacher of mine, Saraswati Ma, once said to me, because I went to the cushion and sat with her and said, I don't know anything anymore, basically. It was just like everything was just, and I had a sense of like losing my entire life. I didn't know what was happening, which was so beautiful, so much space in not knowing. But she smiled at me and she said, well, you're in the cosmic mulch. It's like the caterpillar becoming the butterfly, it really is like that. So it's like hands wide open, arms wide open. It's not my life to live. What do you want from me? God, source, consciousness, whatever you want to call God. Doesn't really matter. Buddha, nature, what? Please show me the way. And these moments where you pray and just say, please show me all the ways in which I cannot see myself. To be that humble. To give yourself over. Because it's not your life to live. As in, my life. The egoic. Mine. I am life. You are life.
I do a prayer every day where part of it is basically boils down to thy will be done.
Exactly. Well, this means the same thing. Thy will be done. Do with me as you are.
I'm trying to unify with the divine will so that it flows through me.
That's right.
And
it is like this, And this gesture, I would offer this to you as a possibility to use it, because something happens, and certainly it does in me, and I can feel something is contracted. And I remember something in me says, okay, you know deeper than this, My heart knows deeper, and I just open my palms. And I can feel my whole body just shifts into a state of humanity and surrender. Surrender, 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 surrender. My whole life's been a surrender to truth. Just keep surrendering. And you can't know how to surrender, so I couldn't tell you how that happens. But it is like head to the ground. Something says, like it's an offering of yourself. So as much as possible, be the offering. Just be the offering. Just such openness and rest the moment that I open my palms and I give myself over. And then, like a river, it flows unimpeded. Your life, you're back in the stream. Or another one that I really like, Ma offered to me many years ago. She said, be like a leaf on Ma's river. And that always just, it's like just if you can imagine yourself like a leaf on a river. It's the same gesture. It's like, okay.
Beautiful image.
Yeah, these little things.
But isn't it very passive? That's sort of always my kind of,
You worry about being passive?
In terms of to say, well, nothing really matters, which probably it doesn't in the bigger scheme of things, but on the other hand it does. That's what I meant earlier, sort of to see how the insects and the birds are dying. Does it really matter? I mean, there's a lot of animals have died out before and other ecosystems have come back. In that respect, maybe it doesn't. But yet it does matter. I feel in my heart it does matter because we're destroying it on purpose. Not on purpose, but you know what I mean? So is that... So if you just...
If you surrender, nothing's going to happen. Is that the kind of...
Is it like saying it's okay, it doesn't really matter what happens?
And it does make something happen. Sometimes you have to make things happen. Because if you don't... So I've been let down this year, and to find a boundary, I don't know what my boundary is. My boundary in my relationship is if you keep letting me down, I need to distance myself. But to distance myself, I end up even more let down. I'm the one with all the responsibilities. And it's such a difficult situation to navigate. You know, he's following his excitement like a leaf. Lovely. I would love to do that as well, but I've got the children.
Yeah.
So I'm just dealing with trying to hold that in love. But if I just keep holding in love, then I'll just end up.
Yeah, but the love has to be all inclusive. Okay. So you cannot be giving your love out here without giving it here. As women, we've learnt to give it and often not receive it. So you must be included in that, the all-inclusivity of the nature of the feminine. I don't just mean woman, I mean like the feminine. God is the feminine, because this is nature herself. To be like a leaf on Mars River is not to be passive. It's to be in humility, to be so merged with her as nature, is the power of creation herself. To be that in the body is to come into contact with God as the feminine, as pure creation. And as pure creation and love, the pure consciousness is masculine, if you like, Shiva, if you like. And that wisdom, the wisdom that is born when you contact her, when she is no longer separate from you, informs every movement. It informs so strongly that you know exactly what is needed. So the response is like, it's like Mother Earth and you are, there's this direct communication. So then if we're in this is what's been missing on the planet. We've been living apart from her. We've not been in our bodies. We've not been connected to Mother Earth. We've cut ourselves off here. And even in spirituality, it's been a very up here, I am nothing, and forgotten that, oh, hang on, I'm also everything. Right? So we're right in the shift. It's been coming for a while, the awakening of feminine consciousness, the awakening to God as the feminine. Of course we've done this to the planet because there's been a massive disconnect, and we could go into this history of that, the religion and everything else that caused that, but here we are, there's a story of consciousness at play, there's a higher play happening, and the two are coming together. So that means it's happening in us too. There's more and more awareness of our body. You only have to hear how much embodiment is out there in the world, that word, embodied this and embodied that, because it's time. You're coming back in as presence, love coming into form, and then we're not just sort of hanging out in some formless reality and forgetting that we're also something, because we're nothing and everything, right? So what I want to offer you, Ruth, is that the information that comes from the wisdom of this our nature as feminine and the connection with the ground in the body is so precise, and it's like you begin to walk with a deeper wisdom that you're being informed with every step that you take on the planet. And I have to say there's in my experience 3 realizations that happen in terms of our awakening, and one is awakening to the universal consciousness that we're not separate at the heart level. Then there is the awakening to the brilliance of the mind, not necessarily in this order, but like we awaken to more than just the ego. Ego is of course beyond the ego, but it's beyond existence, this nothingness, this brilliance that comes, like when we, like Einstein, that sort of brilliance that is beyond, it comes from it's a higher state of consciousness. And then there's the belly, and the belly contains everything we don't want to look at. It contains all of our unconscious matter, and it's probably one of the deeper and more confronting realizations and that we can come to. Because in order to come down as love into form, we're going to meet that. However, it's okay, because we must. It's like what we meet when we come there is we meet everything that we don't feel comfortable with, everything we wouldn't like to see in ourselves. We meet hatred, we meet anger, we meet shame and guilt and wrath and fury, you know. And as women, we're much more in contact with this because we're closer to the ground, because our essence is feminine. So we're so much closer. We feel the pain. We literally feel the pain, and we have to pass through that. And it's okay. It's definitely, you know, strong, because these emotions are strong, and they want to rip through the body. But until you've dealt with that, until it's been met in love, as love, and it dissolves, that still exists in the body.
So is this a certain stage in yogic practice that you have to deal with the shadow of self?
I think so, yes. It's a stage in living in truth, I would say. It's a stage when you're very willing to surrender to truth, and that means being radically honest with absolutely every aspect of your life. Is it true? Is that being real? Can I be more vulnerable? Like, to really shed the layers and layers within our layers. So for me, there was an awakening at the heart level and then at the mind level. So the two were kind of happening in tandem. Lots of things were happening for many years, and then it was like, okay, well, like love is like, I consciously was bringing love deeper and deeper down, and I was sitting very much with love in the belly, if you like, or consciousness here, and there was an unfolding in my life that just life brought it. Life was Satsang, and it was like, here you go, here's your opportunity to surrender to life. And there was a fight, you know. I didn't want to surrender to that. Now, what about my will? Like, you know, I got to see how this one knew better, but then once I saw it, then I could surrender through it. But it played out with my desire to go back to Australia. I want to go back to Australia, but in that there was a willful one, and I had to drop it. I had to give it over, and it felt like a death. It felt like an absolute, I'm going to die if I don't go back. It felt like a real life or death in that moment. And within that whole process, all of those energies that I spoke of were being emptied out. I mean, you know, I created lots of women's work just so I could create a space that can roar and dance it out and move. And movement was really helpful, and finding a safe space where I could let that through me without it being projected at another. Because what's happening is, if you're not dealing with the pain that's rising in you, and when I say dealing with, I don't mean fixing it or putting it at bay so you don't feel it. I mean, yes, feel it, but not getting caught up in it, but rather holding it as presence.
So this is what I need to
there's a big
work
difference.
out how to do,
Okay,
because the
so
last time I did this, I ended up feeling suicidal, which is not like me. But I was like, okay, go into it, like my yoga teacher.
Yes, go into
teacher,
it, but you can't get caught in the emotionality. But there's a difference, right? So we tend to go to therapy and we're in it, and you wonder why nothing changes. Because you're sort of you're hanging out in the pain. You're just rolling around, but when you come to it, so if you just take yourself back to the meditation again, if you imagine bringing and deepening and deepening and deepening, and here you are just resting as love, as compassion, and whatever is there is being held consciously in love. And all of that pain, that's all it longs for. All of your trauma, that's all it longs for, is to be met in love. Because in those moments when we experienced trauma earlier in our lives, we weren't able to meet ourselves in love, and our parents or our guardians weren't able to meet us there and weren't aware enough. And it's okay. We can be the love that we've been looking for. And then you become the one that can hold yourself in your own arms. Hold that little child when it's acting out, you know. So that's the true way home. walking the true way home is this commitment, this willingness, following the longing, going where your heart sings. And keep on, and listening, and that listening deepens and becomes clearer, and you get confirmed in your choices that you're making in life. So I remember times where I just knew I had to go there, and it made no sense to my mind whatsoever, but something deeper knew that I had to pay for that course, and I wasn't interested in the course, but I needed to go there, or whatever it was that was happening. I had to fly to Australia, go to this place, and and somehow, it's like, this faith in that little bit, that, and it might be small in the beginning, this little bit of knowing that says, I think you need to go to that festival, and you need to go to that tent, and something there is confirmed, right? Something here might be confirmed today. It's like, I knew I needed to come here. And you're like, okay, that's that little part of you that knows is strengthened, and you get confirmed and confirmed again. Like you just get taken on a magic carpet ride. And it might not be what the mind is comfortable with and all of those things, but you stop listening to that as much. You've got to. Because none of that is real and none of that is truth. But I want to say that I'm here, and if you want to work with me one-to-one, I'm not sure what you're doing, but we can work with that specifically of how to be with, because your partner will probably be triggering the rage in you, and whilst you're not dealing with it here, holding it as love, you're going to be throwing it out sideways like a knife.
Yeah.
And that's violence. And that's the other word I want to bring in, is responsibility. So the moment we wake up and with all of these things are happening and it's starting to move, things are starting to come to the surface, there can be a wish to just throw it out and not be responsible. And especially as we take this descent down into her, all of that content's going to come up. And if you're not holding it as love, you're going to be throwing it out as a knife at someone else. And it really needs to be tended to and taken full responsibility for. And it can be strong. So I want you to know that when that starts rising, seek support to be with that, because it's a strong process. It can be very strong to move through those layers. And really you can only get guidance from someone who's been able to, he's kind of descended down through that birth canal, and it really is like a birth canal. Dying to her and handing it over. Like, head to the ground, palms wide, like just, okay, mother, thank you. And it's so beautiful, but it's also like being born all over again. So we've gone quite over time, I think. It's 5 o'clock. So I want to let you carry on with your evening, and maybe we'll just finish by chanting Om together 3 times. And Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Taking a slow deep breath in. Om